Alright, welcome lovely people of the Ethernet to a little strange video that is probably going to be called Does Baldur's Gate Hate Short People? Or something stupid like that. And I think the answer is yes. Kind of. So we have the origins here, yes? And they're all different characters with fun different personalities and different races, at least on the surface. However, I have a few problems with the races that are chosen, and also with the additional characters. So this might get into a bit of spoilery territory, so if you've not played the game past Act 1, or somewhere to the end of Act 1, I wouldn't recommend watching this. Now, the game contains Astarion, who is a vampire, and who is a high elf. It also contains Shadowheart, who is a high half-elf. So, sure, those are different, but Gale and Will are both humans. And you might go, well, Will isn't a human, because there actually happens things in the game. And yes, they do, and they change him into a tiefling, which Karlach already is. So, in either case, we have at least one race double-booked, and we have another race kind of double-booked. Also, Minethra, or whatever her name is a drow, so she's also an elf, and Halsin is also an elf. There's also the bard character, which I'm not sure you can recruit. She joins my camp, and then things happen. So I'm not sure if you can actually, get her to join you. But if you can, then that's another tiefling. Then there are also one more character, Minsk, which is, as far as I can remember, a human. He looks like a human. Let me have a quick check. And also I think you can have Jaheira join, and she is a high elf. So, even if, some of the things I'm saying are not 100% true, I think what is definitely true is that there are too many damn elves. Now, why are there so many damn elves? Well, I think for some of them, it certainly makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for Astarion. I can see why they make him a high elf, because he's supposed to be pretty, look at him. And elves are, of course, pretty. I think for Shadowheart, it's probably to do with her being, of course, a worshipper of Shar, and being a elven goddess. Yes. Now, I don't think that is a good reason, still. Change. Some of these characters should have a different race. Some of these characters should be more of, especially a dwarf or a halfling or a gnome, because there is no small race. I don't think you really need a half-orc, but it would be nice. There's so many elves. You can change some of them. The most difficult one I'm having a problem with is Astarion. I don't think you can change Astarion into a gnome, dwarf, or halfling and keep him as, the sexy vampire. So, fine, he can stay an elf. But Gale. Wouldn't it be really funny if Gale was a gnome? Like, come on. That would be fucking hilarious. Can you just imagine, the meme images of the tiny gnome and next to him is Mystra, really big? And it's like that one picture of Taika Waititi showing something to the actress on the set of Thor. That would be really funny. It would be a nice contrast. And as for Will and Karlach, they're both very much in the Hells. You can't really change much about that. I think it fits with Shadowheart. I would love to change Astarion, but I honestly don't know what I would change him to without kind of losing some of it. And, that kind of shows a corner. Why is everyone sexy and good looking? So you can have sex with them, of course, but still, you can change some of them. Halsin is already made to be kind of the big buff daddy, so instead of a wood elf, why not have made him in a half-orc? Most of the people want to fuck him as a bear anyway, so who cares about the human shape? He's just for the furries. And then the drow paladin lady, I guess she's fine as a drow, but it would be hard to take her seriously in the small form, but, maybe as a strong, independent dwarven woman, that would still have been fine. Just make some of the recruitable characters. And also, Chihera, she returns from the previous games, so she kind of has to be an elf. But why are there so many damn elves? It feels like everyone's a damn elf. Like half of these characters at least. I just don't like it. And especially because if you want to have a short king in your party, you're gonna have to be the short king yourself. And me being, of course, 6 feet something, I think. I'm not good with Imperial. Almost 90 centimeters. But, you know, that's not my point. I do like these short characters, but why are you forcing me to be one? Divinity 2 was so good about this. Original Sin, of course. You had one character, essentially, of every race that was having a story that was also pretty tied in with that race and that culture. And here, none of these are really exploring that. They're all more oriented by their class, except for Lae'zel, and Karlach, probably. And Will, after his transformation. And Asterion is also based on his race, but essentially it's entirely ignored that he's a high elf. Which, why make him a high elf, then? I don't know. Do you agree? Or are you like, it doesn't matter? I just think it would have been nice to have at least one origin character who is a small race, and I think it would be especially funny if it was Gale.